welcome back everyone to another episode of the Sounds of the Hardwood podcast. In today's episode, we will be recapping Game 5 and previewing Game 6 and breaking down what we saw in Game 5, what we think will happen in Game 6. Ultimately, again, going over who we feel will win the series and why we feel they'll win that series and how many games. So how y'all guys doing on this nice Wednesday day? How's your week been going so far?
Pretty good. I'm on vacay.
Tiring,
So
man.
this week's been smooth for me.
I'm looking forward to this 4-day vacation, 4-day weekend.
Yeah, we got Juneteenth coming up. So I guess it's
Yeah,
a
Yes, we
that's a
do.
have that off, and then this Friday my job it has its company picnic, so it's
okay.
like you can take that day off. So I'm cool with that.
Oh, so you took it as an off day.
Oh yeah,
Got you,
absolutely.
got you, got you. Makes sense. So games 5, I almost said game 6. Game 5 is still fresh in our minds. Uh, from what y'all guys saw in game 5, obviously, like I always say, for both teams, what do you feel they did right? What do they feel they did wrong? Really, give your thoughts and your opinions on how that game was for each team and what you thought about it when you were watching it. All right, so it's only fair, that we start off with the fellow Boston Celtic fan first, considering the fact that his team is now down 3-2, facing a game-deciding game series closing game 6, and we know there's the reputation of game 6 Clay that everybody keeps referring to. So, how do you feel your Celtics looked in game 5, and how do you feel the Warriors looked, excuse me, in game 5?
Uh Warriors looked okay game five. Um I think what happens, like we all know, like I always say, especially on this podcast, is when you're home, your role players play great or they play better, right? So I think what happened was for the first time this whole series, Boston's game plan was executed the right way. It's always been, and I don't know why people haven't caught on to this. Whoever your best player is, we're gonna we're gonna let him go off, but contain the others or just make the others, irrelevant. Like not, and that's what they've been trying to do, and it hasn't worked. Even the games they won, obviously Curry's gonna get his numbers. So Curry's been having a fucking excellent series going off, and that's great, right? Then he only goes off with 16 points on game five. Both teams were cold first half from three. Boston eventually gets warmed up from three. They hit, I think, double the threes that the Warriors hit. So if you're looking at the stats, you go, and not looking at the final score, you go, oh, Boston might have pulled this one out because the key scorer for the Warriors is Curry, and he only has 16. But enter Andrew Wiggins, who's been having a pretty good series, we could say. And I guess he's not a number one option as we've seen in Minnesota, right? So you come to Golden State, they have a pretty good offense. The ball pops, it still runs through, obviously, their main guys. But as long as you're doing what you're supposed to do, cut in, moving, setting screens, you're going to get the ball at some point, right? So him being the third option, it's play him straight up, see what happens. Well, he's usually good for having a good first half, right? Getting, quick layups, dunks, fast break and stuff. But game five, he actually was getting to his spots, doing what we would want Tatum to do and Brown to do. Get into his spots, mid-range pull-ups over people, backing people down, fadeaways. Mostly, I want to say every time I seen him having the ball, it was Derek White on him because all the switching that Boston does. So I think Curry had a monster game, and that's great. I mean, not Curry. Wiggins had a monster game, and that's great. And that's what's kind of scary, is that could be a confidence booster for him for the next game. We all know what game 6 Clay is. It's a real thing. It's not a myth. It's real. So we know when he says I'm excited to go back to Boston, it's probably not just because they can close out in Boston. It's because it's game 6. And something about game 6 Clay, he's just more locked in. The ball turns to an ocean, and he's just throwing rocks in it, right? So I'm definitely nervous about game 6 Clay. Obviously, Curry's not going to go 3-less, right? another game. He's going to hit a couple threes. But if we can contain those two guys, I think we pull it out because I don't see the Warriors role players playing good on the road, specifically
Mm.
Wiggins, Peyton Jr. I mean, what else do you want? They had Looney with three fouls in the first quarter, and Kerr left him out there. Draymond fouled out, but at that point when he fouled out, it didn't really matter. The Warriors were up. They weren't up by a lot, but the game was still, the momentum was still on their favor, so they had control of the game. So it's just like, it kind of means you got to go back to the drawing board, which kind of sucks because there's 2 more games left and you got to think about something different. With me, I think maybe more Grant Williams early and a little bit more Tice. Haven't really seen Tice. I think maybe 1 game, maybe 2 games this series. I say Tice because me and Soto talked about this the other day. Yes, Rob is a great rim protector, but if you're gonna, when you want to only play Rob for 5-minute spurts, this isn't Miami, this isn't Milwaukee. Like when they see Rob out there, they're thinking when they attack, oh, I don't want to cut Rob. Or if I cut, I'm cutting to pass, I'm not cutting to score. When Rob's out, it's clear as day. When they're cutting to finish, they're cutting to score, all that. And the rebounding difference is crazy. With Tice out there, yes, he's a liability when you want him to push up on Curry, but at the end of the day, you don't, as you're seeing, they really don't have anybody pushing up on Curry. They're doing this drop coverage that gets talked about every single day. They pushed up on him a little bit out of desperation in game 5, and it worked, but you did it in game 5, so now they're prepared for it. So we'll see how they counter that off. They'll probably just run him through more screens and more backdoor stuff. That's them. But with Boston, I think you should definitely have more Tice because offensively, when the Warriors go defensively with their Draymond Green and Looney lineup, yes, you could play Williams and Horford. Take Williams out a little bit earlier, maybe a little bit quicker. And then you could play him more towards the end of the first quarter and stuff like that because they don't even start Looney. They bring Looney out for a sub off the bench. So when they bring Looney out, bring Tice out. Forget about Grant. Grant's not doing nothing but getting caught up in antics and looking stupid out there. He's just out there for cardio. So bring Tice out there. Tice drags Looney out because, and if not, then maybe after he hits a few of those corner threes or whatever threes he takes, because he's capable of hitting them, it drags Looney out. Now the paint's open. The rebounding stops for the Warriors. I don't think it's getting talked enough about how Looney has been getting a lot of, specifically offensive rebounds, but a lot of rebounds for the Warriors to get second chance points. He's just in the right spots. Part of the reason why when Boston drives, that they think it, oh yeah, Green's over here, and then Looney slides over, they're getting caught in the air, which is causing a lot of self-inflicted wounds, the turnovers that Boston's been doing. I think with that, it's just like, all right, well, if Looney's there, you just kick it out. When Rob's on the court, you're like, oh shit, Looney's there, but it's like everybody's too close. It's too cluttered. You can't throw it over the top because Looney's still in arm reach to jump up, maybe tip the pass or whatever. So it's like you kind of need to stretch the floor. Grant hasn't been hitting, so you got to try something different. Tyson's a little bit taller. One thing I will say about Grant is when he's in there with the second unit, maybe try having him on Wiggins and keeping him on Wiggins. Try to get that. If White gets stuck on him, get him out of there quick. Because whenever Wiggins sees Derek White on there, he give me the ball and it's over the top because White's the height difference and he just sees the rim clearly. Nobody's doubling Wiggins because you can't. Yeah. You're gonna live with if he makes that and if he misses that, and that's what happened game 5. And he started making and he disappeared a little bit third quarter. That's when Boston had their first good third quarter, the whole damn series. But then he got it going again fourth quarter, and he essentially closed out the game for the Warriors. So with me, I think it's strategy. They're gonna probably keep starting to blitz Curry. I mean, I've also seen Smart basically face guarding him, the Dellavedova approach from when he was with the Cavs, face guard him the whole way. Because at some point, Curry's just gonna be like, all right, y'all take it. He'll lightly jog up the court, and then he'll try to get some action, try to catch you sleeping. But Smart is not gonna let him breathe. They have to treat tomorrow, because it is like it's do or die. So I don't want to see your same basic regular season subs. You got to play them 40 plus minutes. Brown, Tatum, Smart, Horford. You get 3 days rest. So you got to. And if they do handle business at home, which again, it's a toss up because they haven't really been handling business at home, unfortunately, when usually they're way better at home. it goes game 7, and that's a coin flip because game 7 is a whole different scenario. The Warriors have a whole team besides their regular 3 players. Well, I guess you could throw Looney in there that have not been in the finals. Never mind the finals game 7, right? Boston hasn't been in the finals or a finals game 7 either, but they've been in game 7s. A game 7 is a game 7. So they know that, you know, how to handle a run here or how to punch someone in the mouth first. And then all of a sudden the pressure's all on Golden State if this goes to game 7. Boston literally has nothing to lose, right? If this goes to 7. So just handle business at home just for one more damn time. And Sunday night, Father's Day, we'll be watching the damn game, and we're gonna see what happens. That's all I ask of my team is just to handle business at home for once, bro. They haven't been doing it. They've been so damn inconsistent at home. The refs haven't been announced yet. They get announced tomorrow morning, like around 9:30. The whole city of Boston is praying for Scott Foster. I really don't care who the hell's reffing. The refs shouldn't matter. We've been crying too much too, but I think for me, the big key for game 6 is strategy. Hopefully a lineup change. Not that Horford has been playing like ass or anything, but just he's older. So give him the minutes you're giving Rob and the spurts of minutes you're giving Rob because of his knee. Do the same thing with Horford. What's the point of bringing Tice on if he done played every other series? I thought this series he would play the most in because of the way it's a 5-out type of game. And, you know, I mean, besides Draymond, but everybody can shoot at least a midi and a 3, but Draymond still sits at the 3 anyway. So I think that you got to do something that's going to throw the Warriors, you know, for a wrench and have them razzled for a little bit. It might not work the whole game, but if it works for a quarter, that could be the difference of that one game. So that's how I look at it. It's obviously win or go home. And I think if they hit the Warriors hard enough first, they might just surrender, throw that white flag out there and be like, hey, we got home court. It's all good. Like, don't risk it. I know obviously their experience kicks in. They want to close it out. We know that. And they might attempt to punch Boston first. But if Boston comes out and gives them a haymaker, like they did game 6 versus Miami, then it's like they might concede and be like, you know what, you're Boston, y'all got it. We're going to see y'all Sunday in the Bay. I feel like it has to be 15-plus point win. We can't play a close game with them because Boston in close games has not been good. It's been that way for years. Even when Brad was there, they have not been good at closing out games. And it's different when you know the other team's great at coming back because they don't even care about the 2. They 3s hit way harder. So you know how that goes. So it has to be a blowout. So I think they got to come up with a haymaker, some lineup change, some defensive strategies, and hopefully they can pull it out.
Got you. Right. So what you think, Soto? Off of what, you know, your own opinion and what our Ant just said.
Yeah, you know, with game 5, the first possession that Boston has, it's a quick turnover, and I was just, it made me chuckle, and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a long night if they start off like that, and sure it was. You know, the Warriors, what I found to be interesting was the fact that like within the first 3 or 4 plays, they actually ran plays around Draymond. And that caused a lot of miscommunication with the Celtics. It kind of threw them off. But you know, I love the adjustments that the Warriors are doing, you know, not having Looney and Draymond on the court together, because I don't like it, you know, for spacing purposes. So I like that you know, you put in Porter, you know, who's a pretty good defender. Even though, you know, he can give you buckets on you know, sometimes depending on the game and whatnot. But I just love the fact that, you know, you can bench Draymond and then you can bring in Looney. But unlike games 1 and 4, Boston really had a really, really, really slow start. And you know, on I would say a lot of possessions, there was indecisiveness. They did not know whether to pass it or shoot it. They looked lost. And you know, one thing that I didn't like that the Warriors didn't especially in the second quarter, is they allowed Boston to hang on a bit. The Warriors were supposed to be up by 20 at that point. The way Boston was playing, because you know, Boston started off 12 from the 3-point line. and then they hit 8 in a row in the third quarter. But
both teams shot like crap from the 3-point line first half. Boston was 0 for 12, and I think the Warriors were like 1 for 14 or 2 for 14.
Right, and here's the thing: I feel like Boston missed a golden opportunity here. When you have the best player on the court or in the series shoot 0 for 9, and you still lose, like you don't take advantage of that. Yeah, that's big. That definitely like kind of like shakes up your confidence because out of all people, Andrew Wiggins wakes up and takes over. And good for him. He was sensational that game. So he legit took over. And then here's the thing: Thompson didn't even have a bad game himself. Shot 50% from the field, so he hit big shots when it counted too. So I know Coach Norman Fisher usually says that the bench does not win games and whatnot, which to some point I agree. But I feel like in this case, in that game, the bench was a big boost to Golden State. The bench outscored Boston, what was it, 31-10. And out of those 10, 6 of them were in garbage time. So let's just say it was 31-4. Like that, the Celtics can't have that. The Celtics cannot have that. And I feel like it's just that, they have nobody from the bench they really trust. I mean, they have Grant Williams, but Grant Williams tends to commit a couple turnovers and then some silly fouls, and then Derek White just had a donut of a game at one point,
His first bad game in a minute, but again, that's gonna happen.
So I mean, I love the fact that Wiggins, especially Wiggins, Thompson, Peyton, and Poole, they all carried Curry for that game. And I don't think we're going to see a repeat performance. I feel like that was the one game that Boston needed to steal because I don't think you're ever going to see that game 6 or if there's a game 7. I think what happened with Boston, I think the biggest difference, and I think which was key, was those 18 turnovers. I mean, that's that's rewarding the Golden State Warriors with a whole bunch of points, and then on top of that, you missed 10 free throws.
Lost by 10, and you missed 10 free throws.
Yeah, like it was. You got to be encouraged with Boston in like how they played in the third. Going on that 10-0, a quick 10-0 run, and then hitting 8 straight. And then smothering defense, and then briefly taking the lead. I think it was by like 5 or 6. They showed encouraging signs, but that didn't last too long in the fourth quarter when Golden State responded with a 10-0 run. Obviously starting with that Jordan Poole half court shot, and it's things like these where the Celtics, they just need to like do better. And
call it what it was, bro. They looked like they didn't know they had a game 5 playoff basketball game. Like they looked like it was like a back-to-back regular season. We just trying to get back to the East Coast. Like it looked horrible first half. Third quarter looked okay, and then went back to looking like trash in the fourth quarter. You could be harsh though.
No. Here's the thing.
It looked bad. Like, be real.
Yeah, they obviously I'm not gonna deny it. They blew another opportunity. And again, they shot themselves in the foot with all these turnovers, all these missed free throws, all these unnecessary fouls. Like, again, I'm doubling down. The one game where Curry, yes, he has 16 points, but was not really a factor in this game. That's the game
they had no business. Had no business winning that game
plan defending Curry, but the fact that Wiggins stepped up the way he did, and Thompson and others, like it's just crazy. Brown, who I thought, if the Celtics were to win, the championship, I would have named him MVP. Yeah, he was nowhere to be found, and I don't know, like with Jason Tatum, I need to see more aggressiveness. I don't know how to explain this because, sometimes he be settling for the worst shots. And if I'm not mistaken, he had like 3 air balls, which I'm like, come on, bro, like you can't be doing that. So
Bad day
yeah,
at the
like
office.
I mean, listen, again, the series is far from over. You know, we're back. We're going back to Boston, right?
Hmm.
Um, you know, I guess we could do prediction, right?
Yeah, we
Okay,
do that.
I'm sticking with my prediction. I did say Warriors in 6, so I have to double down on that.
Hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if Boston comes up with a victory. You know, Boston is 3-0 in the elimination games, but I
Hmm.
feel like this is a must win for Golden State. Um, uh, for over Boston, because again, if Boston wins Game 7 back in Golden State, the pressure will be on the Warriors, and that's something
Yeah,
you wouldn't want. But I feel pretty confident that the Warriors are going to take a Game 6. I feel like we're going to see um, Curry shooting lights out, because honestly, he gave you a gift Game 5, and Boston just didn't take it.
yeah, I get you. I get what y'all. I both make good points on what y'all saw in Game 6. Excuse me, 6. Keep doing that. Game 5. You touched a little bit on Game 6, but no, I'll let y'all. When I'm done, I'll let y'all go into what y'all feel are the keys for Game 6. Truly, or what y'all think should play out for each team, and if they want a chance to pull it out. But for me, looking at Game 5, my thought process is the Warriors, like y'all have been saying, Curry had his bad game. And usually, if you say you're a team and you have a superstar who y'all have been struggling to defend, he's in the series, he's averaging 30, like 34 points, 50% from the field, 50% from three. So he has been he's been killing the Celtics. So he has a bad game. So your thought process should be, okay, if he's having a bad game, we should be able to close this game out and win no problem. Because who else was the other person that was really scoring? Yes, Klay Thompson got going eventually. Jordan Poole got going, and then Wiggins got going. But that shouldn't have been enough firepower for a guy that's averaging 30 in the series to only have 16 for you to lose that game. So when I look at Boston and I say to myself, okay, what is wrong with Boston in that game? They have no offense outside of Tatum, Brown, and Marcus Smart. So if one of those three are not playing well, who else can they give the ball to go score? You're not going to give it to Derek White. You're not giving it to Robert Williams. You're not giving it to Tice. You're not giving it to Grant Williams. You're not giving it to Payne Pritchard. They
Horford.
don't have another scorer. Yeah, Horford, who showed up for he's had a combined 26 points since the rest of the series after that one game. So it's like, who else are you going to give the ball to? And this is one of these moments where I've keep going to myself and I said, somehow, some way, they should have figured out a way to keep Gordon Hayward or Kimba on a cheaper contract, because you need offense off this bench. These guys don't have to be starters playing big minutes. But if you said you had somebody coming off the bench in this series that could show up and get you 15, 20 points in a game where Tatum and Brown is struggling, that's a much bigger impact than now turning to these guys who that's not in their game. So when I look at Game 6 and I say, okay, the key for the Warriors is Curry going to have another bad game? Probably not. He probably has a better game than what he had in Game 5. He don't necessarily have to get 30, but we know he's not going to score 60 points. But if you look at the Celtics, okay, you say, okay, do Tatum and Brown ever play well at the same time? No, they never play well at the same time. It's usually one of them goes off, the other one struggles, unfortunately. So if Tatum goes off, Brown could have a good game, but he may not shoot well. Or Brown has a good game, Tatum may score, but he may not shoot well. But then who the hell else is going to score on this team? So I think uh, Marcus Smart has been effective when he's had scoring games, but he's been non-existent defensively. Because if you're looking at the series, who has he stopped per se? Like if he's supposed to be like coming into the series, he was being labeled the Curry stopper. Well, that ain't really happened. Klay Thompson has found his rhythm now, so you really can't say he's guarding Klay Thompson right now. So I don't really see what else the Celtics are going to do other than just hope Curry has another bad game. That's the best case here. Hope he has another bad game, and then maybe you got an opportunity to win this series or force a game 7, I should say. But for me, I think the fat lady is singing. The Warriors are basically they're the great white shark right now. They see blood in the water and they ready to eat. And unfortunately, they're serving up the Celtics for dinner right now because I don't know what else Ime Udoka is going to get out of this team. He's only playing like 7 guys. So what is he going to get out of the 7 that he's playing? I really, honestly, truly do not know. I think, and before I let somebody else go on and comment off what I said, I personally think if it's not for a fourth quarter collapse by the Warriors in Game 1, this series is already over. But I think it's still going on because the Warriors had a collapse, and that's why the series is still going
And
on.
then you head into Game 6, right? And this is a rare occasion, where you have all 3 guys, Curry, Thompson, and Green, healthy. It's been a while since they've all played. They've played all together. This postseason, but the fact that they're all healthy at this moment, at this time, and with their playoff experience and championship DNA, they want this, and that's the thing. I think they want to put this away tomorrow, and I feel like they're going to have to. So, I don't know, and I know you could definitely debate that because I know you said Celtics in 6, but now obviously you have Celtics in 7, right?
Yeah, I'm not gonna jump off the bandwagon.
Right.
But like you guys are saying, I don't think. Well, to go off what Keem was saying, it's definitely the offense. The offense since Game 4 got stagnant. The collapse of a game they had in Game 4. Like even with Curry having that great game, you gotta think about it. Curry was having what she's had every game so far besides one. Just had a great game, we could say, right? And they've won the first one because he was in foul trouble. Second one, he was in foul trouble again, but whatever. Boston got cracked in the third quarter. Third one, Boston collapsed. Like, so it's like what you're saying about the Warriors, like we could say Boston also has maintained, but they also shot themselves in the foot. It's been turnovers every loss. It's been turnovers every game. Even in the wins, it's been turnovers. So I think one thing they should do, put Smart in the post more. Or not even in the post more, but just have him attack Curry. If you gonna let
it has been working.
Sit him down, sit him because Kerr's gonna sit him down for the most part. But then again, Game 4, I think it was, or maybe Game 3, he had 3 or a quick 2, and then he let him go for a little bit, and then I guess he didn't agree with being sat, and Kerr sat him down. So that, like, little did Boston know that was gonna light a fire under fucking Curry's ass, right? Because his coach sat him down. He didn't want to get sat down, but that's when he came on and just started gunning, like, and had that crazy, into the first quarter and was flexing and all that crap. I think obviously they're gonna keep doing drop coverage, which is pissing everybody off. Me, JJ Redick, anybody who chose Boston, it's pissing us off because it's like you don't gotta blitz him, but just bump him and go. Bumping Curry is coming off that at this point, looking to score. He's not looking to pass. Even Game 5, there was times he's coming off that, and he wanted that 3 to go in so bad. He's missing his role play is cutting. Like, that's what you have to, like, all right, we done gave him this look so much. Let's switch it now, and let's see if he's gonna actually be a true point guard. Not a scoring point guard, a true point guard, and swing the rock. The playmaker for the Warriors is Draymond. I'm not saying Curry can't, play make. I'm just saying he's getting ran off screens to shoot, not to pass. So if you're blitzing him, it might make him go far out where, I guess it's still Curry range, right? But maybe turn his back for a second and then boom, you could and again, if you do that first quarter, that might hit the Warriors in the mouth until they wait till halftime to adjust and be like, set higher screens, whatever they're going to do to adjust to that. But like Keem said, You gotta do something different. I said defensively, the offense hasn't been bad, and even game 5,
I think the defense was perfect. I think the
Al
defense
hit
was
shot.
perfect.
You're not every series. You're getting one great game from Al, and that
Mhm.
great game was game 1, and that set the tone. That was a big win for them. Derek White's been until yesterday been pretty good too.
Yeah.
But also, I think about Derek White. I need that intensity you usually have on defense because Curry sees you and he's like, oh, anybody who's not smart, Curry is like, oh, he gets sweet feet. He's dancing all over the place. That's how it is. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you could say Smart's getting fried. It is what it is, but Smart's the primary defender on Curry while he brings the ball up the court until that first screen hits. And even if he fights through that first screen, then it's another screen, and then it's someone else. Usually,
listen, and
nobody
then
is drop coverage, and then so is that really Smart's fault? It's
and
not
then
like
you
it's
have
one-on-one
Rob
It's
Williams
not
picking
one-on-one
up the
cooking.
mess.
Yeah, it's like it's a team effort with Curry. This isn't the Curry we normally see, where it's ISO, boom, boom, boom. Like he tried that a few times, and some go in, some don't. But it's usually with White. So I mean, Smart's out there doing what he can do. But if I'm Smart, I'm like, yo, fuck what the coach is saying. Do what I tell you to do. Step up more.
Yeah.
Like Al's literally stepping back as if like he's scared of Curry to blow by him. But you have Rob as a rim protector. Rob's the type to affect one shot and still go to the corner and contest the 3. We see it all the time, bad leg and all. So I don't know why, unless you're being told, which obviously he is. Ime already came out and said that you're dropping so low. He's literally free throw line. You could hit that shot, Keem. I could hit that fucking shot. Like it's a walk up. It's literally a walk up. At this point, it's no different from walking the ball up. Someone forgot about you, and you're open, and you're just like, oh, okay. It's a walk up. So I just think they gotta do what they were doing game 5 to him. And I think the Warriors are gonna try to throw Boston in for a loop and be like, you know what, Curry, sit right here, be a decoy. It's game 6. They might run 10 times more the plays for Clay than they usually have been because they're gonna want Clay to get going early. And we know when Clay gets hot, it's a different type of hot than Curry because he don't got to dribble. He just got to catch and it's going up. And that's what worries me. I want to see if they keep playing through Curry, if they switch it up and play through Clay. But like I said, it's the offense for Boston. I just feel like it just got stagnant after the first 3 games. Brown was frying Green, specifically in the first quarter. But even that stopped because Brown got too happy and now he's just dancing. He was frying Green because it was one move go. Now it's one move come back. Oh,
not
got you again. Like
not
one
for
move
nothing.
go. Like y'all are like they're athletic. They're young. I mean, we could say Tatum might be hurt, whatever, but it's not out there, so no excuses, right? There's no reason why you guys can't attack the hoop. Forget the ref. Attack the hoop and make the ref make a call. If he don't, whatever, get back down court. Because for the most part, the in transition defense has been pretty decent. It's not like the transition defense off bad shots. It's the transition defense off turnovers because you can't expect when the turnover is going to happen. Like Soto said, there's some the ball falls into Golden State's lap. Like, oh, all right. And they're gone with it. Rob, if it's not for Rob and Smart getting chased down steals or maybe a chase down block or just, making them pull the ball back out to reset after that. But offensively, I mean, in the regular season, you're right. Brown and Tatum haven't been able to get it going together. But the second half of the season, they have some games. And then the playoffs, they really have. Look at the Miami series. Look at the Milwaukee series. One obviously scores more than the other. But for usually most of the games, it's like, okay, Tatum might have had 35, but Brown had 27 or like 25, which is that's still both of them going off. Because it wasn't like a your turn, my turn. It was within the offense. That's all it is. They stopped moving the ball. They really want to do what the Warriors are doing. And you don't have to have just, all shooters do what the Warriors are doing. You just got to move the ball because you can move the ball like that and get a layup. I think Al got to be more aggressive. He's literally 3-point line with Curry on his back and Jordan Poole on his back and Gary Payton. I understand it's Gary Payton, but Al's a big dude. Back them down. Back them down.
They abandoned their whole
playing drop coverage.
They abandoned their whole
I don't know.
Whatever offensive scheme they had.
Yeah, they stopped it.
They abandoned because in game 3, specifically in game 3, the Warriors cannot stop the Celtics when they attack the paint. The Celtics had 52 points in the paint.
In the paint was crazy.
and they made it look easy. Game 4, none of that. Game 5,
None of that.
absolutely none of that.
Absolutely none of that. But game
So-
5, we could
I
just
think-
call the shit the bed game because like from the jump ball, like Soto said, it was like, all right, you already see how
first
tonight's gonna
possession,
go.
he threw it to the ground, and that was Tatum, and I was
And I
just
think,
like,
well, I know y'all both said something about defense just now.
Yeah,
So I think the Warriors have done a better job of taking away driving lanes for Tatum and Brown. I think Tatum and Brown are able to get in the lane when they're able to force turnovers for the Warriors and when they start to be able to get up and speed up the tempo. But when the Warriors are controlling the pace of the game, that's when they start to struggle getting to the basket because now it's against a set Warriors defense and they're not catching the Warriors scrambling. So when they're able to turn it over or the Warriors are not scoring, they can get down the court quick and get some ball movement from side to side, force some switches, force some miscommunication, and then they're able to get that one-on-one matchup and start to get themselves in some downhill situations where they can attack a Draymond Green or attack a Looney or something like that. But when the Warriors are going, when the Warriors are starting to get going offensively, then they start to cut off some of those driving gaps. And that's when you see Brown doing his contested mid-range pull-up. You see Tatum settling for that step-back jump shot or that sidestep jump shot.
yeah,
Because
they're the
you
same.
can't
They're
just
literally
get
the same
to the
teams.
basket.
They're mirror images of each other.
So what happens is now they start passing it to Al Horford, who he's not looking to be aggressive. He's looking for them to get the ball and, okay, I'll re-screen for you. And then now you got the switch, go attack the switch. But sometimes they like, no, go ahead, big fella. You got Curry on you. And they stand around looking at the role players to go make a move when it's like, that's not what they do. Their first instinct is to
get the
get the
primary
ball
player.
back to
Yeah,
you
you're
and
right.
initiate it again. The only person that really is willing to deviate from that on a consistent basis is Marcus Smart. And then the other person is Derek White. That if he gets the ball and he's like, okay, you gave it to me, I'm going to go make a move now. But
He's
the
been the
rest of
only
those
one
guys,
consistently good at attacking. I'll give him that.
yeah,
He's been able to
don't
attack
do
those
that.
gaps. Yeah.
So it's weird.
Oh, that's
And then
gone.
on the Celtics side, I think Tatum. Smart's got to make an adjustment. I know you just mentioned it earlier, and he's
Yep.
got to stop picking Curry up full court because of the fact that, like you said, he's picking him up full court. Then he got Looney or Draymond or somebody waiting for him at half court. Curry runs him right to that screen, boom, and now you got Curry coming downhill with a mismatch. So that's why the drop coverage is in play because you really can't ask Williams and and Horford or Tice to go meet him when now he's coming downhill after Marcus Smart picking him up full court. So Marcus Smart's defensive approach is kind of hurting them because he's trying to pick up Curry to make him work, but he's not realizing he's not working. He's just running you into a screen, and then now your centers are trying to pick up Curry coming at him downhill. That's not going to be an effective game plan. So at some point, he's got to start to say, I got to meet Curry at half court. So now if I get screened, I got more space to recover. But if I'm going to pick him up full and I get hit at the free throw line, I get hit at the half court line, now he got to run back to Curry. And you're not getting to Curry, especially in today's game, without fouling him on that three-point shot. So he ends up
Forget
just
about
saying,
fouling. You're not getting to Curry before he gets the ball out his hands.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like he's either got to switch it or you got to do that drop coverage. So I think Smart is like, he's got the right mindset. Yeah, pick up full court, pressure the ball. But you can't do that with a guy that he'll shoot it as soon as he gets across half court. Like once Curry, everybody says that. Once he gets across half court, he's in shooting range. So
Yeah,
a guy
agreed.
like him, if I'm going to pick him up full court, I can't let him get it. Marcus Smart is picking him up full
That's what
court
I
to
was
let
saying.
him get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, from what I've noticed, the first time I see him get picked up full court, I mean, here and there throughout the first 4 games, but game 5, he was harassing him full court to the point where they weren't giving Curry the ball. They were giving it to somebody else, and they weren't even screening for Curry. But I see what you're saying. There is sometimes, like, start a third quarter, maybe out of a timeout, he picks up Curry full court, and that screen happens. But what Smart got to do, I mean, the big man got to call it out, but number one, Smart, what he usually does, spin around the screen, bro. Don't try to fight over it. That's stupid. It's Curry. It's not Drew Holiday. It's not Jimmy Butler. It's not Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
Shit, even with Kyrie, he wasn't fighting over that. He was going spinning around it, and then you do the screen and meeting him, keep forcing him to the sideline. That's what he's not. I feel like he's not. He's doing too much trying to fight over the top at the half court screen rather than spin around it. And that screen was just stupid. Now it's 4-on-5 our favor. But usually Rob in the paint or Al sitting there, then you could trap because who the hell is going to hurt us from half court? Because it's Draymond and Looney sitting the screen, right? They're not hurting nobody from goddamn half court. Also, they're too damn slow. When they do get the ball, by the time they catch the ball, the 3-point line, again, they're not shooting that. They're just going to hand it back off. So I see what you're saying. And I'm assuming, yeah, it's either Smart on his own wanting to because he feels momentum about the shift. So he wants to try to get an 8-second count or whatever, right? But, or the coaches are telling him that. But we have seen Curry getting picked up full court, wear him down. It's just that he really hasn't been doing it. It's been the half court action you're talking about, and it's a screen more 5 feet out from the 3-point line, which is more than Curry range, right? So when that screen happens, Curry can hide behind the screen and pull up. Good. He can go around the screen and the drop coverage is at the free throw line. Good. Or sometimes get bumped. That's why when they do it, they usually do it with Draymond or Looney because it's Rob or Al. When them two are out or one's in foul trouble and Grant's in there, what's usually that lineup is a good lineup for versus the Warriors if Grant's effective. He has not been effective at all. Don't know why, but whatever. Then you do that screen. It's Grant, who's a big guy, but he can move his feet. When Curry gets that screen and it's Tatum or Brown, it's a whole different thing. So they gotta find a way. I don't know if you keep Brown on Green, have Horford on Wiggins. That's what I'm saying. There's some strategies Boston could work out, but are they gonna do it? Ime seems like he's being kind of stubborn right now because it's been working for him throughout the playoffs. But it's a different type of monster you're dealing with. They've been here before. They're shooters. They get hot quick, and our team's known for turnovers, and that leads to usually 3-pointers. Forget layups. That leads to 3-pointers, and the 3-pointers from the Warriors is like a stab in the damn heart because next thing you know, one sees it going, the other one sees it going. Now you're talking about transition. Oh, I thought you were going there. No, I thought you were going there. Boom. And even if he misses that one, no one rebounds. Here goes Wiggins, put back. He got a quick 12 points off easy. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like they got to really play with lineups more. And if they're going to keep the lineup they've been keeping, then you got to have someone else guarding Draymond so that way when that screen happens, it's just a straight switch. I'm okay with Smart being on Draymond. What's Draymond going to do? Just rescreen, right? Like he always does. So it's like, and Al could do what Draymond did do in game 5, which everybody could say Draymond should do this shit all the time, but he doesn't. Draymond 1,000 times could fake a handoff and go get a dunk. That's versus anybody, but he doesn't. That's not what he's programmed to do. He did it twice, went crazy, you know, oh, Draymond's back, cool, right? Al could do the same thing. You're programmed to keep resetting ball screens, but they're giving you the ball, and they trust Al, right? That's their vet, that's their OG. We're glad he's back, cool. Fake it, and you can attack Al, and Al's also really good at playmaking too. Then you could throw it over the top to Robert Tice, throw it corner to Brown, or just keep it, and it's an and one. So hopefully one of those two guys come out aggressive, Smart or Horford, which is what happened in game 1, and we kind of put them in the mouth early like we did game 1, and we'll see how they handle that. But a lot of things, it seems like a lot of more things have to go good for the Celtics than obviously the Warriors, because it's the Warriors. And you guys are right, but me being a Celtics fan, I'm a ride to the wheels fall off. So I'm hoping they pull it out tomorrow. If it's a close game, fourth quarter, I'll literally be on the edge of my damn seat because I don't like us in close game fourth quarters, right? Especially at home. Because for some reason they trust each other more on the road. It might not show game 5, but they have way more trust and camaraderie on the road than at home. So at home, it's more like I want to make that ooh ah for the crowd. On the road is I want to make the right play.
Gotcha.
So that's why the home road thing has been completely different for this damn Boston team. It's two different mindsets. So that if they have the road dog mindset that they've been calling themselves road dogs, right? And you trust each other, you guys could pull this out.
Mhm.
Also, I know Derek White went like 1 for 7, 1 for 8. Ime got really mad. There was one shot he was wide open that he up faked twice for no reason, and then finally took it and then missed it, sat him down, and he probably told him why he sat him down. For the most part, he's been having a rhythm. Cool. Hopefully he gets back on track with that. But it's like I need something from. I'm calling out Grant. We need something from you, Grant. The antics are over. There has not been any antics. I mean, Draymond walked up on Tatum, but nobody really cares about that. It was a whole bunch of hoopla and nothing happened, right? But forget the antics. Where's the Grant from the Brooklyn series, from the Milwaukee series? Because they're gonna treat him like he's Derek White too. Oh, what was that? Game 7. How many threes that boy take? A lot, because we're gonna let him take all of them. And he's really good from the corner. He has to just play his game. You're gonna get left open, right? Because they're gonna collapse and just be ready to catch and shoot. If we get, I don't care if it's 8 points from him and 5 rebounds, that's something that's different than what we've been getting from him. And that's gonna then he may trust putting him early fourth quarter, late third quarter to mess like with the Warriors lineup and get Rob more rest, Al more rest, because Grant's a little bit more undersized. He can bump Curry, not bump him to do a stupid foul, but bump him just to bump in head, bump and recover, just to till someone else gets there. So they got some strategies to mess with. The question is, will they? Ime's been very like stern with, yeah, we're gonna keep playing drop coverage, this and that, but it could be a different tactic just to let the Warriors think they're gonna do that and then switch it, right? Because it's literally desperate mode for Boston. So you got to try everything. You got to play one more player. I don't even care if it's Neesmith. You got to play another player. You have to play another player because fatigue plays a factor too. Curry's still getting his regular Curry rest time because you have a Thompson and you have Jordan Poole playing good. Jordan Poole showed out again game 5, but that was a home game. But versus Boston, it's been really quiet for him in Boston. The question is for the Warriors, what Draymond's going to show up. A lot of people have been calling out Draymond because it's like you act different when you at home in the Bay, but when you was in Boston, that Boston crowd's different. You complaining about what they were saying, but you guys had to have heard worse. Like you're the most hated. You guys are the Warriors. Like when y'all had KD, y'all had to hear worse when y'all was in arenas. Like, come on, bro. And they only coming for you because the antics he had in game 2 versus Boston. So it was like, we feel like you're trying to punk the team. The city's going to be behind the team as they should. So if Draymond goes over there looking like a clone of himself, like not the real Draymond, then it could be anybody's game. That's what I feel like. But if Draymond comes out and sets the tone, then that's when it gets interesting because they feed off that too. Like the Warriors feed off so much stuff. Draymond, Curry hitting threes, Thompson, and Boston needs so much stuff to go right. But the good thing is that they're home for game 6. That's why I'm like the role players might fade away and Boston's role players might step up. So that's what I'm banking on for game 6. And like I said, game 7's a toss-up because it's a game 7 and a lot of things happen game 7. Some people start fading away. Some people start stepping up for either team. Who knows? But I'm just hoping that there's no celebration in Boston for the Warriors in game 6. That'd be some disrespectful stuff right there. So we shall see.
Got you. Yeah. All right. So what you got, man? What's your game 6 and outlook and take?
Well, I mean, if you're the Celtics, you're gonna have to make a statement in the game. You're gonna have to. But ultimately, the games have been pretty close and whatnot. And like I said before, I mean, if you're Boston and you get to win game 6, then you feel really good. You feel the momentum switches, and you know what? You feel good about game 7. And like Ian said, like game 7, anything can happen. Because I mean, despite the Warriors flopping game 1, the Celtics did win game 1, and that was in Golden State. So you know what? Can they win in Golden State? Absolutely. Now, and as I previously mentioned, with the Warriors, it's like you have everyone, mostly healthy, and this is a golden opportunity just to close this game out. Um, you know, I feel like the Warriors are pretty fortunate in a way, and it's going to sound weird, fortunate that they came out with that Game 5 victory, because based on what was going down in the third quarter, I was like, oh. Here, like
Yeah.
I honestly
It
thought
was set up for a nightmare because the
no.
10
I
points that was
honestly thought the
scored was
Celtics were
Tatum.
going to steal that game. The way it
And
was going,
yeah,
because Golden State just couldn't hit anything, and they had nothing to respond to that except for when they started hitting a couple shots, and then with the half court shot, it kind of like swung all momentum the
yeah,
Celtics
and
had.
put them up by one end of the third.
Right, and then again, like fourth quarter, the Warriors, continue on a 10-0 run, and then I think what's more scary about this is that they did it without Curry. So having Curry on the floor, game six, we're not going to see a repeat 0 for 9 performance, like
Oh,
Keem
I
said.
agree for sure. He's gonna have at
Can
least 5 threes
can he have another bad
early.
game? Yes, but I don't think it's going to be 16 points on 0 for 9 shooting.
Mhm.
So I really feel like he's going to make this game count. And then, like we all uh have mentioned, game 6 Clay. How is he going to come up? So
Yep.
because he's been feeling it the last 2 games.
Hmm.
He's been finding his confidence. He's been has found his rhythm. So yeah, game 6 Clay is an actual possibility.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
for Boston, it's like it's not over yet. But you need more. Again, yes, bench doesn't win games, but they provide with a boost, and that's where the second unit has to do that, and they haven't done that. Um, you know, I, Ime used to give some minutes to Pritchard, and it looks like he lost all faith in Pritchard. With Grant Williams, it's like Grant Williams had a pretty decent series against the Heat, but he hasn't gotten that many minutes either. He's been averaging like I think like 15, 16 minutes, and then you have Derek White, where Derek White has been pretty decent the first 3 or 4 games, and then had a really terrible game, or a non it was a non-factor in game 5. So I feel like that's where the Warriors have a leg up on the Celtics, because it's like they have Gary Payton, who's a defensive specialist, right? And with being a defensive specialist, he can get you buckets. He could easily get you 10 to 15 points. Poole, who a lot of people are calling him, the third Splash Brothers, coming off the bench, offensive, firepower. And then you have Looney, who a lot of people are like, oh, Looney, what is he going to do? Looney can get you boards. Looney can get you offensive rebounds. Looney can get you second chance points. And for being a tall guy, Looney's a pretty decent passer. So, you plug those 3 in to rest some of your guys, and it's like, you still have a balance. I can't say that for the Celtics, because if you take out Brown, if you take out Tatum, it's like, who is going to step up? So that's what we saw in the last game. The Warriors did their thing. Almost coughed up the victory, but they rebounded nicely. And again, Boston can't have these slow starts. Boston can't have these over 16, 17, 18 turnovers,
Hmm.
because Golden State, they will make you pay. And then also with the free throws, you got to hit them free throws. You missed 10 free throws, and what? You happen to lose by 10. That's game right there. So it's
Yeah,
just,
18 turnovers, 10 missed free throws.
Boston definitely needs to make major adjustments on the offensive end. On the defensive end, I really can't give any complaints, because Wiggins had his game and whatnot, but they were able to stop Steph Curry, and so it's just, yeah, again, their offense, the ball wasn't moving, or all these like weird shots that they were taking that were airballed, or heavily contested. Like they just got to do better with their shot selection. And I mean, will they probably play different in Boston? Absolutely. I know there's definitely going to be some adjustments being made, but I like Keem said, the Warriors right now are a shark smelling a whole lot of blood.
I agree with that, and I told you that game 5 that you could tell
Yeah,
they smell blood. But
they
even though it
smell.
was a horrible first quarter, first half of both teams, they still were doing what they do because they smell blood, and because that's when the experience comes in. They've been here
Yeah,
before, and they kind of feel like, okay, we know what they're doing. They're not changing what they're doing. We know who we are. Let's just do what we do. Like they're
And
letting us be who we are for success. They're not trying to change us. So it's like they go to sleep every night, waking up every day, like
like,
what are you doing in practice as the coach, as
mhm.
Kerr? Like you just like, all right, we're just gonna keep running the same. And if they might happen to throw this is what we're gonna do to counter. But for the most part, it's kind of the easiest thing for them because they're like, we know how we're gonna play our main guy. So they definitely feel that way. I think Kerr gave Boston some bulletin board material. I'm not sure if they really used it. I'm not sure if they really heard it, but he already said, let's get the parade ready. Stop planning for the parade and stuff. Um, but again,
Sir.
it's just like they just got to get it together. I think they got to go back
it,
to
it's all about
playing
making
through
Oh,
Brown
adjustments. It's
first
all
quarter
about
because
making
Brown,
adjustments. Well, the
yeah,
Warriors did that.
because Brown definitely can start a spark. Like he starts the games better than Tatum.
Well,
So
he
start running
is
through Brown like you normally do. They try to run through
absolutely
Tatum game 5, but that's someone who's been off the whole series. So why are you doing that? And
no,
I think
and
that kind of threw Brown off for a loop.
yeah, no, and
And
like
then
it's
it's
like
like your turn, my turn.
no,
That's when it turned
yeah,
to.
and in every game we've kind of seen Brown be the spark in the first
Yeah,
quarter.
like I'm talking about a quick 10 plus points in the first quarter. Easy.
Yeah, and then in last game he was the spark in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
but
So you talking about, oh, we trying to tell Tatum like, hey, do this, play off 2 feet more, start playing off 1 foot, winning one hand out the other. He's still going to the hoop playing off 1 foot. I get what Ime's saying because if you go off 2 feet, you're going stronger already because you have both feet under you. Refs might not still call it, but at least you're stronger. You're going off 1 foot. You're going up weak. Refs aren't going to give you no weak ass calls. That's what
yeah,
Ime's basically trying to say. And that shit went in one ear and out of the other ear for
yeah.
Tatum.
I just
Meanwhile,
I
Brown
get
is playing off 2 feet, but then Brown looked really sloppy at times. Game 5, because it's like he felt like
I
I've been
think
having the mismatch I wanted, so it's time to let me kill.
yeah.
And you
I
I
stop
just
think
forcing it.
yeah. Go ahead.
That's why I think start running through Brown because he's not afraid to make the extra pass either. They stopped doing that. Like, the good shot for the great shot, Spurs offense, it's been
mhm.
a lot of that. Like, you might make that first good pass to the corner and you see that man rotating, but you ain't see the ball go in tonight. So you want to shoot it anyway to see the ball go in rather than up fake, let that man keep rotating, pass it to the wing. If that's White, if
Yeah,
that's Pritchard, if that's Smart, and that's a clear, wide open shot. Make or miss, that's a wide open shot. You got the defense shifting, which could lead to offensive rebound. That's what the Warriors are doing. That's what Boston's not doing.
yeah.
That's that. We can go on all
So
night about that shit, honestly.
yeah. So I'll go real quick and then I'll slide into our closing thoughts and then wrap the episode for today. Uh, and if anybody wants to interject something after I say what I say, that's fine as well. But I think the Warriors have kind of treated Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown like they used to do James Harden with the Houston Rockets. In the sense of it's like, okay, we're gonna let you have the first 4 games, or we gonna figure out what y'all are doing, where y'all want to go, where y'all want to get the ball, and then we're gonna adjust. What the Warriors have done is they started to tighten the screws on those role players. It's become a thing where it's like we not gonna just let y'all go get buckets. It's like if y'all start hitting, we gonna guard y'all like y'all are Tatum and Brown. So it's a different feel when now I gotta go put the ball on the floor. So like last game 5, that was just all mental. Those guys weren't seeing the ball going in. So they start getting nervous, like, okay, I gotta hit one eventually. I gotta hit one eventually. And then they weren't hitting them. And then as a role player, that hits you harder because you start to feel like, okay, is these guys gonna keep giving me the ball and I keep missing? So then it comes to a point where Tatum and Brown kind of feel like, okay, y'all not hitting. One of us got to try to put the ball in the basket because if one of us can't, if y'all can't hit, one of us have to hit. But then if we're not hitting, then y'all got to make a shot. So it's kind of like they're getting to a mental space where it's like a lot of people will talk about the Celtics look tight, they look defeated. And I'm not going to go that far, but some of that could just be like they're starting to mentally run out of options. Like, what else can we do based upon what coach is giving us to work with? So if he's only going to play 7, 8 guys, then Tatum and Brown are thinking, okay, Grant Williams is not making shots. Horford is not looking to score. Robert Williams is not an offensive scoring threat. Derek White struggled. Who you want us to get the ball to, Ime? Because it's like if we not making shots, who else is our options right now? And I said when we did our first podcast to talk about it, I said the Warriors just need 4 games to figure out what the Celtics is doing, and then they're gonna win this series in 6. And I'm calling tomorrow. Curry gonna have 40. And the reason why I'm saying Curry gonna have 40 is because I think he realizes that this is my moment to get my Finals MVP. It's not going to no Andre Iguodala this time. There is no KD on this team this time. This is my chance to prove that this is my team. And we were winning because I'm one of the best players, if not the best player in the NBA right now. And he's going to use this game as his moment to show you I am more than just the little light-skinned dude that y'all think shoot threes. I am an all-time great NBA player. And I think he comes out and he has 40 in the Boston Garden, or TD Garden that it's called now, because he's trying to prove a point of that I am not just the guy that benefited from having KD on his team for 2 years.
And that's what became Boston's worst nightmare, and that has nothing to do with Boston at all. That shit's been what the media has been saying since the playoffs started. And it was quiet, right? And then Draymond said some shit on this podcast, which I'm not sure if Curry feels like it was true or what. But since Draymond said that, and that was second round he said that, I think. No, third round because they played the Mavs. So it was third round when he said that, maybe before the third round started, after game 1, game 2. And he was like, yeah. And it wasn't on his podcast. It was on whoever's podcast. But he was like, oh, yeah, Curry got double teamed way more. KD rebutted that. And I feel like it's just, sometimes it don't got to be your opponent that lights a few under you. Sometimes it could be what the naysayers are saying, what ESPN is saying. There's 3 days in between each game. These guys are watching the same shit we watch. They're gonna watch First Take for a little bit while they're getting their ice and their treatment. You know what I'm saying? They're talking. They got media day, so they're talking to the media, so they know what the media said. The media's asking the question and all that. So you're right. And also the whole. Oh, not Kendrick, but no, yeah, Kendrick Perkins said it, but other people are saying it too. Oh, will Curry be top 10 now if he gets this ring? And it's just like Boston just happened to be the opponent, where it's like, not saying that he wouldn't have this fire anyway, but it's like more fire. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's not like Curry who comes out pretty boy swag. I could do what I want to do. I can flip that switch, turn it on. That's normally how he comes through any series because he's Curry, right? Been here, done that. But he definitely has another look in his eye, and it's not because Boston's his opponent. It's because what you're saying, what everybody, the outsiders are saying. So he does want to prove people wrong, and that does worry me. But I would say that would probably more happen game 7 than game 6, because game 6 is Clay's game. That's why I'm focused on Clay, because game 6 is Clay. It's Clay's game. That's why it's game 6 Clay. Trust me. I mean, Curry has some good game 6s too. Don't get me wrong, but Clay just happens to outshine him.
Yeah.
But it's either way, it's gonna be a fun game to watch tomorrow.
Very true. Gonna be lit. Gonna be a good game. I'm excited for it. I hope it's a close game. Okay. I want your Celtics to make it a close. Like don't do like some teams do in this situation, and they come out
Well,
and they
that's
lay
because
up
you're
a
saying the
goose
Warriors
egg.
are gonna win. So you're saying, but if the
Don't do that.
Warriors win, it's not gonna be a blowout. At least not that
Don't
I
do that.
think. I think they're gonna win because it was a close game and Boston did what Boston did and took
It's going
ill-advised
to be a Golden
shots.
State. It's either going to be a close Golden State win or a Boston blowout.
Blowout. And Golden State waved the white flag and was like, "We'll see you game 7." That's kind of what it has to be. That's
Okay,
kind of what it has to be.
understandable. Now, this brings us to our normal closing thought segment. You talk about anything, don't gotta be sports related, whatever's on your mind. The mic is yours. So anybody got any closing thoughts before we wrap?
Well, I mean, since tomorrow's the 16th, I just want to wish my pops early happy birthday.
Hey.
Yeah, his birthday's tomorrow, so ready to celebrate that in whatever style he wants to celebrate.
You go to the club?
Not a casino.
Nah, that's a possibility. I don't know. It's either we go to dinner, maybe casino on the weekend.
We go get some champagne bottles, man. What you mean?
Word.
In the VIP.
I mean, listen, I already know what I'm getting him. Well, I have to give him double presents because Father's Day is right on the corner. Which, I mean, hopefully we'll do an episode before Father's Day. But my father's favorite player besides Dirk, oddly enough, he's not a Golden State fan. Mm-hmm. Is Klay Thompson. So I'll probably get him like a Klay Thompson shirt because he's either Knicks or Dallas, and I'm Knicks in San Antonio. Figure that, huh?
Well, that's a combination.
Yeah,
both got New York and Texas State team.
Yeah, he always loved Dirk, and then ever since like Dirk retired, he needed another player, and it's always been Klay Thompson for him.
Gotcha. So happy early birthday!
Yeah, thank you
to the OG.
Word, yeah. Happy early birthday, Papa Soto. Happy Father's Day too. Shout out to all the dads out there.
Well, happy Father's Day to you. I mean,
you about to say your early Father's Day.
I was going to save it for the next episode, but since we're doing it now, why not?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you think about it, next episode might have. I mean, that's because you're saying Warriors and Sixers. We might have to wait till after Sunday to do an episode. I'm just saying. There's few people thinking like me right now, but that's cool. I've always been a loner. I've always been by myself.
You're right, but cool. But here's the thing.
It's just me and Molly.
Oh my!
Oh no, JJ switched his big back today. JJ went back to Boston and was like, you know
how
what?
How many times has he switched?
No, he's always in Boston in 6. But after Tuesday morning, obviously after Monday's disaster, he was like, yeah, it's not looking good for Boston. But then today he was like, you know what? Because he said what I said. He said he just it looks like kind of Golden State's too comfortable. But if there's a team that could be too comfortable, it would be the Warriors, right? So it's like that's how I feel too. Like they really don't seem like they have urgency. Like they just feel like
it's not over yet. Again, Boston real quick is 3-0 in eliminations, and we've seen the way Jason Tatum plays in elimination games. So take that for whatever you want.
Tatum and Brown. That's what I'm saying. They both play pretty good.
Especially Tatum. So it's like, damn, Keem. Mad bright over there.
Yeah. Who, me or Keem?
Keem.
I'm like, what?
It looked like God went to visit him.
The heaven gates open. Yeah, we'll end it on that note.
That's the Warrior Championship ring shine. That's what you're saying. It's coming through bright and early.
I like that energy.
Coming
Keep
through
that
bright
energy,
and early.
Thank you. Keep all that energy. Keep all that energy.
Hey, look, I'm a Lakers fan. I can't be out here supporting and condoning the Celtics.
That's true.
Do it.
That's true. That's why I understood you picking the Warriors.
Well, Soto's a Knicks fan, so you got the Knicks Celtic rivalry, so it makes sense. I mean, it ain't hit like that in a few years, but you get what I'm saying.
And then it ain't hitting
Historically,
a
it's a
while. There ain't no rivalry with the Knicks and Celtics. I don't know what niggas are talking about. I don't want to
Yeah,
hear. I
you're
don't
right.
even want to
You're
see no
right. There,
comment pop up
you're
because
right.
there ain't
There
no
isn't.
Knicks and Celtics
There
rivalry. You
isn't.
already know who it is.
There isn't. Last R.J. Barrett off the glass.
you can see B highlight tape of RJ Barrett
Oh, I did
dropping
Barrett's
buckets on
birthday.
Tatum.
Yeah, he's just
You
trying
ain't
to
see
get a.
that?
He's just
Yeah.
trying to get a job.
That's my guy.
He's just trying to
Wow.
get a.
Wow.
He's trying to be a
Wow.
videographer for the Knicks. I get it.
Oh,
Wow. That is disrespectful. That slander was uncalled for. That was uncalled for. See, we need to have another episode. I wish we had Pete because that's the energy I needed. I needed that Pete energy when he was like he look at I seen him out here looking like the other guys. I needed that energy out here in these streets, but we didn't get it today. But it's all good. Just maybe, after if the Warriors do win it in six, I know, I mean, I give him his Pete Stew segment, and he could just sit there and explain to you how Tatum may get it done, and it's just so
I'd
I can
love to
see
hear
how
it.
you feel about that.
I'd love to hear it.
So, but I mean, I ain't got no closing thoughts out here. I mean, I already pretty much my mindset is I just want to watch the game and hope it's a good game and get to enjoy it. If the Warriors win, to me that's a win for the Lakers. Cause like, okay, they beat the Celtics. Yes, sir. Let's go. So I don't have to hear the Celtics talking about they got more championships than the Lakers. Nope. All right. So I can sit there and go, yes, good job, Curry. Clap it up one time for the light skinned splash bros over there. Good job, Clay and Stephen Clay. Good shit. All right. Beating the Celtics for the Lakers because there was nowhere to be found this shit. All right. So that's all my mental mindset is. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a hater right now. I'm a full-fledged hater. I'm over here like, yeah, beat the Celtics, please. Please beat the Celtics. Because that's the worst. I do not, as a Laker fan, I can't condone, I can't sit here and act like I want to see the Celtics win. So that's why my closing thought is Clay, game six, Clay, I need you there, bro. I need you to turn the six upside down. I
all I
need you
know,
there all
real quick,
day.
all I know is if the Celtics, pull this one off and win the championship, I have a good feeling that Ant will have his own episode, and we'll just watch from afar.
Nah,
Ant will
he
have
not gonna get his Shannon Sharp energy. Nah, I don't think that's coming. There ain't gonna be no Shannon Sharp Henny with the cigar out on set. I don't think he's gonna get that. Ain't no red cup and cigar coming off a Big Tone. I don't think that's gonna happen. I mean, it'd be nice for him, but nah. I'm gonna be Shannon Sharp just straight trolling over here in these streets.
We'll
you
end
know
it here. We'll end it here,
I'm
and we'll see. We'll
gonna
see.
be,
But if they were
I'm gonna be
subtle's not
straight
wrong,
trolling.
there's gonna be a whole different type of energy from me.
Oh, I know you have a list in your little black book.
Got you. But this brings us to the end of this week's episode. Like always, if you miss any part of our live episode, you can watch it on our YouTube channel, Sounds of the Hardwood Podcast. We hope everybody enjoys the game tomorrow. And if we're not here with you before Father's Day, so on Sunday, I wish all the fathers that support and watch us, that support and watch their kids, sports and school and other regular activities, a happy early Father's Day to you. Happy early Father's Day and birthday to Soto's dad. And like always, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we'll catch you on the next one. We out.